during this season, over the years, we've done something called a Adventures in Faith, and very often the Adventures in Faith are celebrated by the different colors of the rainbow, and we actually even ask the congregation very often over the years to wear the different colors of the rainbow as the weeks go on. And maybe we'll do that again next year, but, being me, I like to change things up. So we didn't do that, but the thing about a rainbow is that when you pull all the colors together, the interesting thing is you would think it would make this mucky color, like grayish, like, mucky gray-brown. But it doesn't. It creates white, which is a fantastic and amazing thing that it's capable of doing. And what I know is that for the 6 prior weeks and all of the things that we've been celebrating, we celebrated forgiveness, compassion, peace, stillness, gratitude, and I'm missing one. Joy. How could I forget joy? And so what I believe is that when you pull all those qualities together, those are the qualities that come together as love. Because within love, within the presence of love, is contained all of those qualities. About a year ago, I decided to take on we all need support, all right? So I took on a teacher, and I chose to take on a shaman teacher. And so when I first met her, I said to her, I have to soften my edges. Because I knew I still had some edges, you know what I mean? The Jersey in me was still... It still exists. We didn't get rid of it totally. It's under control more. It's by far more under control. But I definitely had those edges, and they weren't serving me. I wasn't being served by having that edginess, not in who I wanted to be in the world. Because who I want to be in the world is love. I want to be a presence for love, and I want to have the space that surrounds me to feel so safe that just by walking in that space, you feel loved and you can feel the presence and the power of God. That's my goal. That's been my goal for a long time. It'll be my goal for till whenever. Till this incarnation of my life ceases. So we softened a bunch of the edges, but what I didn't like is she actually knew that. She saw it as soon as I was only there a few minutes, and she could see my edges. Now I have an edginess about the fact that she could see my edginess. I thought I was being so coy. So, humble and, not obvious. So the edges did get softened, and they got softened because I kept reminding myself about who I wanted to be in the world and how I wanted to show up. And so by constantly reminding myself that I want to be the presence of love, what doesn't serve love must go. And so what's happened is my language has changed, my sense of humor has changed, my tendency for sarcasm is gone. It had to. I've talked about this before. You know where the word sarcasm comes from? Tearing flesh from the bones. Think about the next time you feel tempted. They say sarcasm, though, is a sign of high intelligence, though. So if you feel it, congratulate yourself, but then don't do it. So I realize if I'm in a room and I think something's funny and I'm the only one laughing, it's probably not too funny. Right? You ever see people that think things are funny and they're the only one laughing? So I had to find those places, and I had to heal them, and I had to be willing to be more than what I was being, because I want to do that. I want to be safe. I want you to enter my space safely. This is not new. You've heard me say this before, and I believe that is the I believe that that is the goal of every practitioner and possibly every minister. And what I could see is that I must be showing up in the world differently because I'm getting invited into certain places where I was never invited in before. Like I don't know if I told you this, but recently I got a phone call from Reverend Bob Dean. Did I mention this to you all? No? Okay. Reverend Bob Dean is a friend who used to be in Paoli, Pennsylvania, and I go there to speak sometimes. So does Reverend Stephen. Matter of fact, that's where I'll be next week. And they're without a minister right now because their beloved minister went to work for Home Office in Golden, Colorado. He is now the head of the education, all the education within the Centers for Spiritual Living. So I got a phone call to be invited to participate in an education subcommittee. Okay? Now this you're going to laugh at. Not yet. I'll tell you when. So I got invited to participate on a team of people, 8 people. You won't know most of the names I'm going to mention. Some of you will know some of them. Dr. Deborah Gordon, who is obviously the wife of Ken Gordon. Dr. Michelle Medrano. Dr. Kathy Hearn, who used to be the community spiritual leader, currently the dean of the School of Ministry down in Southern California. Dr. Pedro Weldis, who used to be a dean, she's in Texas. Dr. Bob Dean. Dr. Ken Kaiser, who is the dean at another school somewhere. And me. I have no idea how I made it on to the short list. Now, here's the funny thing. Not only do I not have a doctorate, I don't have a college degree. I went to 1 year of hotel restaurant management school, and I was too stoned to get through the second year. It's the truth. I could lie, I couldn't figure out the paperwork. It's the truth. I got nothing, okay? But what I have is what you feel. What I have is what we have in the room. And I realize that those have become my credentials. Thank you, God, for those credentials. Thank you, God, for the presence of love in my life. Thank you, God, that you have given me this arena to hone the skill of love. Thank you, God, for that. And so my invitation is please, please, please let us all hone that skill. Please, please let each of us, let them know us and let them know this community because we have all chosen to hone this skill. It has to be that. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to make it funny, but it must be that. So let us hone the skill of love so profoundly that it opens all the doors for you. I want to know that each one of you, no matter where your heart wants to go, and no matter what you want to do, professionally, vocationally, in a relationship, I want to know that the call for love is so deep and so profound that it opens the door before you even realize that it's open. I was upset before, clearly, seeing this, my beloved David on the floor. This was not a good thing this morning. It was somewhat shocking, but to immediately turn around and see my prayer team, to see them there behind me, that they had my back, and we showed up in force immediately. You can do this. You can do this. You can be part of this call for love in whatever you do. In whatever profession, and if you work at a Quick Check. I got to tell you, sometimes I just want to get out and move around people like that because I realize here it's obvious. I get to show up as this, right? I get to come in. You're expecting this from me. But imagine if you go into a regular store and you have before you an individual that acts like this, but behind a counter, the one in the toll booth. Imagine that we become that no matter where we go, what we do, what conversation we have, that we show up empowered and on fire with love so profoundly that it melts away the separation. Are you hearing me? This is my dream for this center. That's why building a global community, people who choose love, one person at a time. That's why it is our slogan, it's our vision statement, and it's been that way for years. Who here loves themselves more now than when they walked in the door this morning? Right? When you are engaged with love, it comes out. It works. It works vibrationally. It's not about having the right words. It's not about having the right behavior. It's about systematically just being that all the time so much that it precedes you. Love is such a big conversation. Such a big, critical conversation. Especially when we use the word in such a variety of ways. You know, I love the shirt you're wearing. Right? I love you. Right? We use it so much of the time. In so many different ways. Now, we don't talk about Jesus that much, but God, you got to talk about Jesus if you're going to talk about love. Doesn't matter whether you practice Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, it doesn't matter. Just at this moment. Yes, I know Christmas was not really his birthday. Okay? I get that. Okay? None of us are fooled in this room. But the man was about love. Didn't know him growing up. Didn't even love him that much growing up. Didn't love him till I started to love myself more. And I started to realize why others were loving him. That others loved him because of the presence of love that he was in the world. And the presence of forgiveness that he brought to the world. You know, everybody likes to talk about, well, he was also angry, you know. Yeah, but he was love first. He was love first. It is fair to consider, what would Jesus do? It's fair to consider that. Not because you're wanting to be a Christian again, maybe you are. But because this man, the master teacher, Jesus, knew how to walk that incredible line of love. I don't want to waste any words that are useless today. I feel mostly just like being present with each of you. As I look around and I see who you are. And I see how we've gathered together and what the call was. I recognize at the call. Some of you have been here and you've gone away and you come back. It's an incredible thing. And if you're in the room with us for the first time, as I know this young woman is with her baby sleeping in her arms, that vibration of love is just infiltrating this baby right now. Because that baby has no resistance to love. No resistance. And we sit next to each other, brother and sister, of all colors, of all ages. And all I ask is that please answer the call to love. To let go of anything that needs to be let go of. To study. Do your studies. Do your meditation, do your prayer. Come to class if you need some support and upliftment. Because we're here to do that for you. That's why the practitioners are practitioners. We get the greatest gift ever as ministers and practitioners, because I can't do my job without standing in love. It's not like the fish looking for water. I know I'm in love. I know it. I'm not fooled. And I don't think they are either. So I want to ask, is there anyone here today who has something that's in the way of love? Would you stand? Is there anyone else today who has something in the way of love? Practitioners, interns, and anyone sitting who feels you can be fully present to these individuals, I ask you to raise your hands to these individuals. I ask those standing to close your eyes to receive. Let's take a breath. I believe in the power of the presence of the One. I believe in love. I believe in love as the healing, revealing element of all that is good and pure and holy. I believe this day is a holy day, for it is a day that we have turned to each other to be lifted, to be loved, to be seen, to be honored. Let us love and see and honor each one, especially those standing. I know for each and every one standing that whatever is in the way, whatever distraction is there, whatever wound, whatever story, whatever belief that has been taking residence in your mind and in your heart, that it has no power here. There is no power greater than the power of love, that anything and everything in the way is melted. If you are willing to surrender, then surrender. If you are willing to be more, be more. If you are willing to be love in this moment. Be love. Be it so completely that there is simply no place for anything else to exist. Be the power, the presence of love. Let your heart feel safe. You are deserving. Let your heart feel whole. You are worthy. Let all of you feel alive and fully expressed, because it is your divine birthright. I know this for each one. If you are willing, surrender. If you are willing to be more, accept. If you are willing to be loved, be loved. Let us love you now. Let us love you to your wholeness, love you to your peace, love you to your health, love you to your prosperity, love you to being in love you to feeling safe. Let us love you now. Feel the vibration that's being built in the room. Feel the peace. Feel the love. And I ask, do you accept? Do you accept? And your acceptance is a bond. And this is a covenant of love. Let us know it, feel it, and recognize it. With bountiful gratitude, bountiful gratitude for the presence of love in this room, in life. I am so incredibly grateful. And I declare that nothing can stand in the way of the full realization of love. For this and so much more, I'm grateful and I release this word. Please join me and say, and so it is. Did you feel it? Love has a vibration that's unique. It's got a texture that's unique unto itself. And when we feel that vibration, we set it as on our GPS as the trajectory that we're reaching for. So when you're on the path to that feeling, the moment you are off target, the moment you have to reset, don't delay. We can't hover in anger and be on that trajectory. We can't hover in judgment and be on that trajectory. We can't hover in any kind of judgment or criticism, gossip or complaining and be on that trajectory. So the moment something calls you over here and you think it might be real, it's not. It's something sabotaging your happiness. Don't let it. Yes? Yes. Good. And so it is.